Can you see my video? This slide. Can you see the slide? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay, then we shall start the class now. So in the last class, we have discussed about the RC coupled amplifier and how it is working and what is the working principle of an RC coupled amplifier and what are its applications uh, in the real practical sense, what are its application and where this particular amplifiers or what are the advantages and disadvantages of RC coupled amplifiers. Today, we will discuss about the frequency response characteristic of an RC coupled amplifier. What is meant by frequency response characteristic? For every amplifier, there is a frequency response characteristic for it. Or actually, the amplifier, whether it can be used for a particular application, is entirely decided by its frequency response characteristics. As we know, an amplifier is supposed to handle AC signals. So AC signals are essentially having frequencies, isn't it? AC signal will be always varying in accordance with the frequency at which it is actually propagating. So an amplifier is supposed to carry or it has to handle AC signals. So the purpose of an amplifier is to receive input signals of varying frequencies and provide an amplified version of the output signal. So every amplifier has a frequency response characteristic associated with it. And what is this frequency response characteristic? And it is the graph plotted between frequency on the x-axis and gain in dB on y-axis. We have already discussed about different gains of an amplifier, isn't it? What are those different gains? The voltage gain, the current gain, and the power gain, isn't it? So this gain can be represented in terms of dB or decibels. The unit of gain is in dB, right? Actually, it is a number, but it is actually a gain represented in terms of dB. Frequency response characteristic is to study about the performance of an amplifier at various frequencies. What for we take or what for we do the frequency or what for we understand about the frequency response characteristic of an amplifier, because in order to know the performance characteristic or in order to know the performance of an amplifier for a particular application, we should know about the frequency response characteristic, in what way the amplifier respond to a particular frequency or a set of frequencies which it handles. Okay. Now we have a typical frequency response curve here. I will show you what are the important points or salient points in a frequency response characteristics. So any frequency response characteristics have got the curve is like this. This is the frequency response characteristic curve. This is the frequency response characteristic curve. See here like this. I have shown it like this here. Actually, what is this characteristics? It is the characteristic plotted between the frequency and the gain, whether it is voltage gain, current gain, or power gain. But here we have plotted it in the voltage gain on the y-axis and frequency on the x-axis. So any frequency responsive characteristic of an amplifier will have three important regions, which are namely the mid-gain region, that is mid-frequency gain region or mid voltage gain or current gain or power gain region, a low frequency region, and a high frequency region. Follow my point. So every frequency response characteristic for any amplifier, there will be a frequency response characteristic. In that frequency characteristic, there will be three important regions. What are those regions? One is the low frequency region. The other one is The mid frequency means actually the region in which the gain of the amplifier will be almost constant. See this curve which is flattened and that is parallel to the x-axis. So here the gain is almost constant. This is the gain axis, voltage gain, AV is here, and this is the frequency. So here between the low frequency and high frequency region, the gain of the amplifier is almost constant on over the mid frequency region. So this is the ideal frequency response. This one, this mid frequency region, that is the ideal frequency response. So every amplifier will be having a low frequency region, high frequency region, and mid frequency region. In the mid frequency region, the gain of the amplifier will be almost constant. Okay, so these three things you should understand before we discuss more about the frequency response characteristics. Now, three. The frequency response can be divided into three regions. I told you mid-band region, that is mid-frequency region, low frequency region, that is what is called low frequency band, and high frequency region, that is the high frequency band. These regions are usually called band, mid-band, mid-frequency, low frequency band, low frequency, that is high frequency band. So that band we have already seen here now in this graph. Now, what is meant by low frequency region? Usually in an amplifier, the low frequency regions is actually the region where the frequency of the signal will be less than 50 Hz. I had told you the common emitter amplifier. We are actually learning about what characteristic, the frequency response characteristics of an RC coupled CE amplifier. So for any CE amplifier, the amplifier is meant for using it as a voltage amplifier or a audio amplifier. For the main application or practical application of a C configuration or a C amplifier is to use it as a voltage amplifier or an audio amplifier So audio, what is the audio frequency? Audio frequency ranges are actually from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, isn't it? 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So CE amplifier is mainly dealing the audio frequency ranges of signals. So we will be discussing about the frequency response characteristics of RC coupled CE amplifier well within this frequency range. So the low frequency with regard to a CE amplifier is actually less than 50 Hz or even less than 30 or 20 Hz because our audio frequency is actually from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, that we know. Usually the low frequency with regard to an RC coupled CE amplifier is considered as a frequency less than 50 Hz. So a frequency less than 50 Hz, the voltage, what happens to the voltage gain for a CE amplifier? If the frequency of the signal is less than 50 Hz, the voltage gain of the amplifier seems to be decreasing. The voltage gain of the amplifier is slowly decreasing, it is gradually decreasing compared to the mid-band frequency gain, mid-band gain of the amplifier. So mid-band gain, I told you, that is from 20 kilohertz to 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Within that range, the gain of the amplifier is almost constant between the ranges of frequencies from 50 hertz or 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz or 50 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Okay, 50 എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാലും 20 എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാലും കുഴപ്പമില്ല, കാരണം that is the range of frequency, that is audio range of frequency, that is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, or 30 hertz to 30 kilohertz, or 50 hertz to 20 to 30 kilohertz. So that are all coming under the audio frequency ranges, and CE amplifier is meant for amplifying audio signals or voltage amplifier for amplifying the voltage signals of sound. Okay. Now, I told you at low frequencies, what happens? The voltage gain of the amplifier is decreasing. So this is mainly due to the coupling capacitor and bypass capacitor. Why coupling capacitor and bypass capacitor makes the voltage gain reduced? We will tell that one. What happens when the frequency of the signal is reduced? when the amplifier handles the frequency, low frequency signal, a signal of less than 50 hertz, what happens? Capacitor CC and bypass capacitor CE. What is the bypass capacitor? That is the emitter bypass capacitor. What is the coupling capacitor? Coupling capacitor is the capacitor connecting the output of one stage to the input to the next stage. So these capacitors are having capacitance. So they have the capacitive reactance which depends upon the frequency of the signals handled by the amplifier, isn't it? Or which handles the frequency of the signals passed through it. What happens to the capacitive reactance when the frequency is increased? For any capacitor, the capacitive reactance Xc is given by 1 by 2 pi f c, where f is the frequency of the signal or frequency of the supply system or frequency of the signal. So frequency is inversely proportional to the capacitive reactance. So if the signal frequency is less, what happens to the capacitive reactance? The capacitor will be offering a considerable capacitive reactance, isn't it? 1 by 2 pi fc. F is decreased. Xc will be increased. Follow my point. When the frequency of the supply system and capacitance value is increased, the capacitive reactance is decreased. If the frequency is decreased, the capacitive reactance is increased. When the capacitive reactance is increased, what is the unit of capacitive reactance? It is in ohms. It is very similar to that of a resistance offered by the circuit in DC. DC ഒരു റെസിസ്റ്റൻസ് എന്താണോ ഒരു കറണ്ടിന് ചെയ്യുന്നത് അതുപോലെയുള്ള ഒരു ഇഫക്റ്റ് ആണ് എ സിയിൽ കപ്പാസിറ്റീവ് റിയാക്ടൻസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇറ്റ് ആക്ച്വലി ഓഫേഴ്സ് ഹിൻഡ്രൻസ് ഫോർ ദി പാസേജ് ഓഫ് കറണ്ട് ത്രൂ ഇറ്റ്. Or in other words, the signal current will be getting reduced at low frequencies. At low, because the capacitive reactance is considerably increased. So, what is the basic feature of this signal? The signal is passing through the amplifier for amplification to improve its strength. Usually, the signal will be having a very small power, usually some microwatt to milliwatts. Such a very small power, such a very small signal power is there, and that is to be amplified by amplifying the voltage of the signal. So that voltage of the signal is to be amplified. So in order to amplify the signal voltage, what to do, the capacitor and the amplifier will be, after amplification is passing through the coupling capacitor or emitter bypass capacitor, that is bypassing the emitter. What happens, the capacitor will be offering somewhat higher capacitive reactance, and that capacitive reactance will reduce the signal strength or signal current. Or in other words, the signal will not be passing through the coupling capacitor. Actually, what is actually meant for this coupling capacitor? The coupling capacitor should pass the amplified signal without having any distortion. So that is our aim. Amplifier. But here, due to this coupling capacitor and bypass capacitor with the low signals, when it is handling low signals means low frequency signals. When it is handling low frequency signals, the capacitive reactance offered by the coupling capacitor and bypass capacitor will be considerably increased. That actually causes to what? That actually causes to reduce the signal current. The reactance of the coupling capacitor CC is quite high, and hence very small part of the signal will be passing through the other stage, from one stage to the next stage of the amplifier. So even if the first stage, the amplified signal is there, but some portion of the signal will be getting reduced due to the reactance offered by the coupling capacitor. Very similar to that one, the emitter bypass capacitor, since the emitter bypass capacitor offers a high capacitive reactance, some of the signal will be shunted through the resistance Re. It's an emitter resistance, isn't it? There is an emitter resistance Re connected for thermal stabilization, and through that emitter resistance, some of the signals will be passing through. So effectively, at the next stage of the input of the amplifier, a reduced signal will be received. So that will be affecting the operation of the amplifier anyway. That will be affecting the operation of the amplifier. So at low signals means at low frequency signals, a CE amplifier will be having a reduced voltage gain. This is the reason for that. And these two coupling capacitors and their reactance actually makes the voltage gain which is falling at low frequency. Then what about mid-frequency range? In the mid-frequency range between 50 hertz or 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz or 50 hertz to 20 kilohertz, that is the audio range of frequencies, the voltage gain of the amplifier is almost constant. And that is referred to as mid-band gain, mid-band. That frequency range is called the band, frequency band. And the frequency band, that is the mid-band frequencies for an audio amplifier or a CE amplifier, that is between 50 hertz and 20 kilohertz. 50 hertz is the lower frequency range, that is lower frequency point, and 20 hertz is the higher frequency. And between the lower frequency and higher frequency points, the range of frequencies are called mid-band frequencies. And in this mid-band frequencies, the voltage gain is almost constant. That is why the curve from the low frequency point to the high frequency point is almost parallel to the frequency axis. So it is parallel. So everywhere here, the gain is almost constant. Okay. Now, at high frequencies, what happens? At high frequencies also, again, there is a shortage of voltage gain. How it is happening? The capacitors at high frequencies offer very, very low resistance. Usually, capacitors which handles a frequency of some 20-30 kilohertz means that it offers a very, very small capacitive reactance. A capacitive reactance which will be very, very small, less than some 1 ohm or sometimes 0.05 ohm, 0.07 ohm, like that. Such a very small capacitance it is offering at high frequencies, because at high frequency the capacitive reactance offered by these capacitors can consider all the capacitors to be a short circuit at high frequencies. Very low resistance means it is as good as treating it as a conductor. Conductor means there is no resistance offered, or there is no capacitive reactance offered by the system, by the capacitor. So we can consider the capacitor to be a short circuit connected between a live wire, a bare wire, just like a short circuit. That is what is said here. All capacitors are considered short circuit over this range. What range? The mid frequency or mid band range, because it is that band frequencies at which the audio amplifier or voltage amplifier is mainly handling the signals. It is these ranges of frequencies, that is 50 hertz to 30 kilohertz or 20 or 30 kilohertz. That is the mid frequency range, where the band, that is the gain, that is the voltage gain of the amplifier is almost constant, because all the capacitors connected, that is the coupling capacitors and bypass capacitors, offers very low resistance, and that can be practically considered to be a short circuit. So when it happens, so all the capacitors are just like a short circuit or having a very, very, very low reactance offer, then what happens? The voltage gain tend to increase, isn't it? When that is the case, the voltage gain tend to increase, isn't it? So in that case, at high frequency point, between the between the low frequency and high frequency, the band is almost, that is the band, even if the frequency is increased, the voltage gain is almost constant. But when it reaches at almost some 20 kilohertz or 30 kilohertz or even 550 kilohertz, what happens? It's a very high frequency. In such a very high frequency point, or the signal which is offering, which is actually at a high frequency region, that is 50 kilohertz and above, what happens? Greater than 20 kilohertz, the voltage gain tends to decrease. Why? Why the voltage gain is tend to decrease? In the lower frequency point we have seen below 20 kilohertz, below 20 hertz or below 50 hertz, we have seen the capacitor will be offering very high reactance so that some of the signal strength will be getting reduced. But at high frequencies above 20 kilohertz, why the voltage gain again decreases? Because at the very high voltage gain, what happens, what happens at very high frequencies, the capacitive reactance offered by CC, that is coupling capacitor, CC is very low, and this increases the loading effect of the next stage. When the capacitive reactance is very low, means what does it mean? The output resistance offered by the amplifier will be very low, and if that is less than the input resistance of the next stage, if it is not matched with the input resistance of the next stage, what happens? The previous stages or the capacitor coupling CC stage, that the output of that will be, when it is connected to the next stage, will be acted as a load, or next stage amplification circuit will be acting as a load for the first stage. It takes some current from the system, and that is it's actually feeling like a load connected to the system. Instead of amplifying the signals, it acts as a load. Again, that is also a deficiency for the amplification. That is also a deficiency. It acts as a loading effect for the next stage and thus decreasing the voltage. If it is acting as a load, what happens, the previous stage has to drive that load at a very high frequencies in the region F2. The reduction in voltage gain is due to the inter-electrode capacitance between emitter base. I told you emitter base is actually a region where some resistance is always there, and there is capacitance developed between the two different materials, that is having conducting plates and with a resistive part in between. And there is a collector base junction, that is reverse bias. There also there is two metallic portions like semiconductor device like P and N, but which is reverse bias, so it offers a very high resistance between. So between two conducting plates there is a resistance, so it will act as a capacitor. So that is what is called the inter-electrode capacitance of the transistor. Inter-electrode capacitance. And where are these inter-electrode capacitance arise? That is on the emitter base junction, collector base junction, and the emitter to collector junction. All these three junctions will be having small, very small capacitance that can be usually neglected for low frequencies. But for very high frequencies, a frequency greater than 20 kilohertz or 30 kilohertz or 50 kilohertz, that is above the audio range. If the frequency is above the audio range, in such a high frequencies, this inter-electrode capacitance of the transistor, that will be offering a very small capacitive reactance, or that will be offering a very small capacitive reactance, isn't it? Why? Because these capacitors, their value is very small, but at a very high frequency, even if the value of capacitance of these junctions are very small, but due to the very high frequency signals handled, the capacitor reactance offered by this very small capacitance effect will be predominant. That will be very much predominant in the circuit. So once the capacitive reactance is there, that capacitive reactance will be very, very small due to the increase in frequency more than 20 or 30 kilohertz. At very high frequencies, the interelectrode capacitance will be offering a very, very small capacitive reactance, and that capacitive reactance will may sometimes cause to have a short circuit between, but it will not be a short circuit as such, but instead it will be causing to increase the base current. When the base emitter junction capacitance is very small, but when the base emitter junction carries a very high frequency signal, a signal more than 20 kilohertz or 30 kilohertz or 50 kilohertz, in such case, the capacitive reactance offered by the base emitter junction may sometimes cause to increase the base current, because that junction capacitive reactance will be very, very, very small, and moreover it is forward biased. But due to the high frequency signals, this capacitive reactance again getting very small to increase the base current. And this base current is increased. What happens? In a CE amplifier, what is the amplification factor? The base current is increased means the amplification factor will be IC by IB. Isn't it? IC by IB. When IB is increased, that will be causing to decrease the amplification factor. So the current amplification factor beta is reduced. Why IC is not increased that much, or IC is increased? When IB is increased, of course, that has to increase the IC also correspondingly. But the capacitive reactance offered by the collector base junction, that is somewhat more than that of the base emitter junction, isn't it? At high, though both capacitive reactants are very small at high frequencies, but the capacitive reactance at the collector base junction, that is reverse biased, will be having some more value. So definitely, with the increase of base current, that much increase in the collector current cannot be achieved, or effectively IC by IB will be decreased, or the amplification current amplification factor will be getting decreased. When the current amplification factor beta is decreased, what happens to voltage gain AV? AV will be getting reduced. So at high frequency ranges, the voltage gain of the amplifier is reduced. So at low frequency ranges less than 50 Hz and high frequency ranges greater than 20 kHz, we have seen that the voltage gain of the amplifier is getting reduced slowly. And between the mid frequency region or mid band frequency region, that is the region between 20 Hz and 20 kHz, or 20 Hz and 50 kHz, or 20 Hz and 30 kHz, that are all usually called the audio frequency range, where the voltage gain is almost constant. So in the mid band region, the frequency response is such that the voltage gain of the amplifier is almost constant. Isn't it? That voltage gain is almost constant. And frequency of the input signal is continuously varied. Even if you vary the frequency of the signal from 20 Hz to 20 kHz, there won't be any considerable variations on beta, or the voltage gain AV of the amplifier is almost constant. Now, how can we plot this graph? I told you, for an audio amplifier, the frequency range is quite large, from 20 Hz to 20 kHz or 30 Hz to 30 kHz. In this frequency response, the gain of the amplifier remains almost constant in the mid frequency ranges, while the gain varies considerably with frequency in low and frequency in high regions, or at low frequency and high frequency regions. The gain of the amplifier, that is the voltage gain of the amplifier, will be getting reduced at low frequencies and high frequencies. From my point, low frequencies and high frequency points. But we should see that practical amplifiers does not have equal gain at all frequencies. It is not possible to have a CE amplifier to have a voltage gain that is constant throughout from low frequencies to high frequency. From low frequency to high frequency region, we cannot expect a equal gain at all regions of the frequencies at which this amplifier is working. Or in other words, a CE amplifier is having a mid-band frequency region where the voltage gain of the amplifier is almost constant, and that is from the low frequency point to the high frequency point. Low frequency point, that is of the order of some 20 hertz, and high frequency point, that is of the order of 20 kilohertz or so. So only at low and high frequency ends, the gain deviates from the ideal value. What is the ideal value? The ideal value is actually between the mid-frequency band region, or the frequency of 50 hertz and 50 kilohertz, or 30 hertz and 30 kilohertz. Follow my point? So at low and high frequency ends, the gain deviates from the ideal characteristics, that is from the mid-band frequency range. The decrease in voltage gain with the frequency is called the roll-off or roll-off frequency. It is actually the roll-off. What is meant by roll-off in a voltage amplifier, or what is meant by roll-off in an audio amplifier? The roll-off frequency is actually the frequency at which the amplifier gains varies. That is happening in two conditions: whether the low frequency range is less than 50 hertz, or high frequency range is greater than 30 kilohertz. That is the audible range of frequency. Between audible range of frequency, there is no roll off, or the mid-band frequency is the frequency of operation of an amplifier between 50 hertz and 30 kilohertz, or 20 or 30 kilohertz, or even 50 kilohertz. And between this region, the voltage gain of the amplifier is almost constant. Follow my point? The frequency at which the mid-band gains fall off by 70.7%, or the frequency at which the mid-band gain falls to, not falls off by, falls to 70.7% of the mid-band frequency, or called the 3 dB frequency. So that I have already told you. The frequency response, the frequency or the gain of the amplifier is usually represented in terms of dB gain. So in a frequency response characteristic of an RC coupled amplifier, the mid-band frequency, if it is say F, then in the lower frequency band and the upper frequency level, or lower frequency level and upper frequency level, if the frequency at which the mid-band gain falls to 70.7 or 0.707 AV, or called 3 dB frequencies. That is the 3 dB gain frequency of the amplifier. So accordingly, there will be two 3 dB frequencies for an RC coupled amplifier. There will be two 3 dB frequency points. What are those points? Those 3 dB frequency points are the lower frequency 3 dB point and upper frequency 3 dB point. What is the significance of this 3 dB frequency point? The 3 dB frequency, the importance of this 3 dB frequency point is this one. I told you, this is the frequency response characteristics. This is the high frequency region. This is the low frequency region. And this is the mid frequency region. Between this one, this is the mid frequency region, where the amplifier will be almost maintaining a constant voltage gain. Now, when the gain here, if the gain is in dB, if the gain falls by 70.7 of the mid frequency gain, if this is the gain in dB, gain falls to a value that is equal to 0.707 AV. That is this point. That is the lower frequency point. And if you draw the same line like this and cutting at the other end, that is the upper frequency, that is the high frequency point. These two frequency points are called the lower frequency point and upper frequency point. The lower frequency point is called the lower cutoff frequency, that is represented by F1 here. This is the lower cutoff frequency. Lower cutoff frequency. What is the significance of this frequency? It is at this frequency, the gain of the amplifier is reduced to 0.707 of the midband gain. What is the midband gain? Midband gain is AV. And this AV is reduced to 0.707 AV here. Similarly, 0.707 AV here. Then this F1 is called the lower cutoff frequency and F2 is called the upper cutoff frequency. And between this lower cutoff frequency and upper frequency cutoff frequency, the transistor amplifier is having its bandwidth B. The bandwidth B of any amplifier, any CE amplifier, is the difference between the upper cutoff frequency and the lower cutoff frequency. Follow my point. And the range of frequencies over which the gain does not deviate, that is this point, the gain does not deviate more than 70.7% of the maximum gain. This is the maximum gain, that is AV. And from this point to this point here, that is the point where the AV deviates to 0.707 AV or 70.7 AV. Here also, this point is the upper cutoff frequency. There also the frequency is reduced or gain is reduced to 0.707 AV or the frequency is reduced to 70.7, that of the frequency out here or midband frequency. If the frequency is reduced to that particular value, the gain will be also reduced to 0.707 AV. These 2 points, that is F1 and F2, are the lower cutoff frequency and upper cutoff frequency respectively. And the difference between this F2 and F1 is called the bandwidth B of the amplifier. That is the bandwidth B of the amplifier. Okay, that is the bandwidth B of the amplifier. I told you all that. So what are the roll-off frequencies? The roll-off frequency means that is the frequency beyond the F2, that is here. The frequency beyond F2, that is from this point to this point onwards to higher frequency end. This is the high frequency region. From this point of F2 frequency onwards, in the high frequency range is the roll-off frequency of the response characteristic on the high frequency range. At the low frequency range, the roll-off frequency is this one. That is the lower frequency range. So at lower frequency range and upper frequency range, there are roll-off. And frequencies at which the midband gain falls by 70.7 are called 3 dB frequency. I told you the 3 dB frequencies are F1 and F2. F1 is called the lower cutoff frequency of 3 dB point, and F2 is the upper cutoff frequency 3 dB point. There are 2 3 dB points where the frequency reduces to 70.7% or 0.707 AV of the response characteristics. Follow my point. And the difference between F2 and F1 is called the bandwidth B. The bandwidth B. What is F2? F2 is the upper cutoff frequency. F1 is the lower cutoff frequency. Right? F2 is the upper cutoff frequency, and F2 is the upper cutoff frequency, and F1 is the lower cutoff frequency. And again, if you see this particular figure, here this is the lower cutoff 3 dB point, and this is the upper cutoff 3 dB point. What actually is this dB? dB is the voltage gain, and that dB actually represents the power which transfers after amplification. What will be the power that will be given output as the amplified version. That is, what is the amplified, not amplified power. It is actually the power, it is actually the voltage gain, that is voltage, signal voltage that is amplified. The power that will be offered by this amplifier between this region is almost constant power. And after this point, that is before F1, that is a very low frequency point, where the power will be getting fallen. The power is getting fallen because the transistor is handling low frequency signal. So at the 3 dB point, if you give the signal reduced further, the power of the amplifier will be getting reduced, or power gain will be again, power gain will be getting reduced. The power gain will be getting reduced. Here also, after this upper cutoff frequency point, again, here also the power will be getting reduced. Follow my point, the power will be getting reduced. So this particular point where the mid frequency power, that is the power available at the mid frequency band region, if the power is reduced to 0.707, if the power handled by the amplifier is reduced to 0.707 AV, then such a powers in the between F1, or such a powers at F1 and F2 is called half power, or the frequency at which the half power takes place. For F1 and F2, the significance of F1 and F2 are, they are upper cutoff frequencies and lower cutoff frequency. F1 is the lower cutoff frequency, F2 is the upper cutoff frequency. And these cutoff frequencies are sometimes called 3 dB points, or 3 dB frequency points of the response characteristic. What is the significance of this 3 dB frequency? The main the characteristic feature is that at 3 dB point frequency, the power of the amplifier is such that it offers or it delivers 70.7% of the power output when the amplifier is working at the mid frequency, or it is the 0.707 of the power. Here the power is actually halved when the voltage gain at 0.707 is occurred at these two frequency points. At F1, the frequency is at lower frequency, cutoff frequency. At the lower cutoff frequency, the amplifier is having a voltage gain of 0.707 AV. Similarly, the same 0.707 AV is there at a high frequency point. And here what happens, at this 3 dB frequency point, the power delivered by the amplifier is reduced to 0.70, or is reduced to half, not 0.707. It's not 0.707 AP. It is reduced to half. The amplifier power will be reduced to half. If P is the power which is, then at the 3 dB frequency points at F1, beyond this one, or before this F1, when the frequency is very much reduced, the power will be halved at this particular point. Similarly, the power will be halved when compared to the mid frequency band. This is the mid frequency band. Well, if the power is free, the power P will be getting halved when it is reaching at the upper frequency cutoff. That is at the F2. That is the half power frequency point. So 3 dB frequency points are sometimes called half power frequency points. It is not 0.707 P. Understand that. It's not 0.707 P. It's not 0.707 P, but it is the half power. If P is the power here, then P by 2 is the power at 0.707 AV. But the voltage gain is 0.707 AV. 0.707. But the power delivered by the power handled by the amplifier will be half the power. at the mid-frequency region. If the mid-frequency region power is P, then P by 2 will be the power at half power frequencies, that is 3 dB frequencies. So 3 dB frequencies are sometimes called half power frequency ranges or half power frequency ranges. So with this, I conclude this frequency response characteristic of an RC coupled amplifier. Now we will pass on to the public address. So this is very important in your studies, and that is included in our syllabus also. What is meant by a PA system or a public address system? A public address system is an automatic, is an electronic sound amplification and distribution system. It is a electronic sound amplification, or sound amplification is called audio amplification. PA system is an electronic audio amplification system and distribution. It's actually an audio amplification and distribution system. It's an audio amplification and distribution system, or PA system is an electronic sound amplification and distribution system. And where this public address system is used? Well, the public address system is used for addressing a very large gathering or a public, like announcement in offices and institutions. So here we are using a public address system for informing the different status of the institution, or your that bell tingling. That bell tingling means to know the hourly operations of the classes and all those things. And of course, sometimes we will be having a prayer. So that prayer will be also transmitting through the PA system. So it's actually, there is a public address system available here. So this public address systems are used for addressing very large gathering, and also announcement in offices and institutions, and the entertainment programs, especially music programs. So where we will be using a very good public addressing system. Now, how the public address system is actually represented. So a typical representation of a public address system is given here. This is a public address system. This is the block schematic diagram of a simple public address system. Of course, for the purpose of explanation, you need to draw this figure. You have to draw this figure by heart. For any answers you write for the examination, if there is a chance to draw, or if there is a drawing along with your answer, then that will be given more weightage. So in the past series 1 examination, that is class test here I conducted, all of you have written so many things. But how that particular thing is to be explained, you have to explain with a neat diagram. So that diagram will give the different parts or different processes or different blocks that explains the function of that block, functional block. Right? So here in a public address system, this is the block schematic diagram of a public address system, which essentially includes microphones, mixers, then voltage amplifiers, then process circuits, then driver amplifier, then a power amplifier, then the loudspeaker, LS. Follow my point. So every PA system will have the microphone, a mixer, voltage amplifier, a processing circuit, driver amplifier. Okay, so this you have to know. Then what's a microphone? Microphone is the first component of a public address system. That is, microphone. In a PA system, microphone is the first component, which is essentially a transducer. What is a transducer? A transducer is a device that converts some form of energy into corresponding electrical energy. That is a transducer. Here, microphone is a transducer. Electrical signal. That is why it is called a transducer. So your microphone is a transducer, which converts sound signals to corresponding electrical signals. The microphone accomplishes this transconduction mostly using either electromagnetism or a large capacitor. So microphones, there will be different constructs for a or microphone operated through electromagnetism or microphone operated through crystals, which is a small capacitors connected to it. Okay, then the next part is the mixer. The mixer we have seen, this is the mixer. So all the output of the microphones are then connected to the mixer. So mixer will have the sound signals of different frequencies, isn't it? The sound signals of different frequencies well within the range of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That will be applied to the mixer. So mixer allow multiple sound sources to be combined together so they can be played out of the same loudspeakers. So different sound signals will be received by the mixer and that is combined together depending upon the frequency which it handles. And then that is actually uh, helping for playing the same thing of some loudspeaker. So mixers range from single input to multi-input of very large, elaborate mixing concepts. So mixer can be a single input system, and mixer can be a very large electrical system. Very large electrical system means you have seen in a very large that Ganamela like or music program like things we need to have different microphones connected at different points. There will be many microphones connected for music instruments. There will be separate microphones for the singer. There will be microphones for different singers. And there will be microphones for different capacity devices. So sound sources such as MP3 players and laptops that can be plugged directly into the inputs without a microphone when background music or supplementary music audio is also needed. So if you want to have separate music mixed with this microphone system, so that that will be played as a background music system, that is possible with mixers connected to a PA system, because mixers will be connecting this PA system and also give the necessary signals, and that can be controlled through the mixers. Okay, then output level of the music playing device should be adjusted accordingly to avoid overloading of the system. In such cases, if there are signals, audio signals like signals of varying frequency ranges. So output level of music playing devices should be adjusted accordingly to avoid overloading of the system. So this different high frequency signals should not make any overloading to the system. So that is what is it meant. And that is actually done with the help of mixers. Then there are pre-amplifiers and amplifiers, isn't it? The amplifier system consists of pre-amplifiers, voltage amplifiers, then power amplifiers, and processing circuits. That are all the amplifiers. What is meant by pre-amplifier? Pre-amplifier is actually the amplification stage when the signal is received from the microphone. That is the pre-amplification stage. In the pre-amplification stage, the amplitude of the sound signals actually coming from the microphone should be amplified accordingly. So that there will be amplification taking place in the pre-amplification stage also. Once it is amplified, then the next stage is the voltage amplification, and signal voltage is reached to some recognizable voltage level. so sufficient voltage level through this voltage amplifier, then only we can have the next stage of amplification, what is called the power amplification. So after the voltage amplification, that is pre-amplification like voltage amplification, and the driver amplifier is also there, that drives the amplifier to run to the next stage. And then processing circuits. What is meant by processing circuit? In a PA system, the processing circuit essentially includes the gain control. Gain control means there will be voltage gain, power gain, isn't it? So all this the device will be having voltage control devices or gain control devices, and that is handled by the processing circuit. The gain control will be done with, by the processing circuit. What my point? So then next is the loudspeaker. What is a loudspeaker? Loudspeaker is essentially a transistor again. It is a transducer in which the final piece of the public address system, which are from my point, loudspeakers are final piece of public address system which reproduces the amplified sound. They are really transducers which converts an electrical signal back to sound signal. So here loudspeakers and microphones are acting as transducers. Microphones uh, the transfers of the microphone actually handles the signal input, and that is then converted, that is the sound signal is converted into corresponding electrical signals or electronic signals. That is why it is called that particular um, device is called a transducer, because it handles what type of signals? Which handles sound signals to convert it into corresponding electrical signals. So it is called a um, input transducer. And what is the output transducer? The output transducer in a PA system is the loudspeaker. Why? Because the loudspeaker converts the electrical signal into corresponding sound signal. So loudspeakers are also transducers which converts an electrical signal into sound signal. Right? Most importantly, the reproduced sound is much louder than the original sound. Why? Because the amplifier has amplified the output. So such an amplified output is given to a loudspeaker. So loudspeaker will be now acting as a load, but the loudspeaker is actually a device which can convert your electrical signal into corresponding sound signal. Okay. So that is all about these loudspeakers. Then there is some complicated type of PA systems are also there. Simple PA systems is having only devices like loudspeakers, power amplifiers, pre-amplifier stage, which includes voltage amplifiers and also mixers and microphones. But there are certain systems, there are certain sound systems or PA systems where equalizers are also playing an important role. What is an equalizer? An amplifier system which uses equalizers along with mixers to alter the frequency response of an audio system using filters. An equalizer is actually equalizer is actually what? Equalizer is really a circuit. What type of circuit? What type of circuits? A circuit with mixers to alter the frequency response of the audio system using filters. So every audio system is supposed to work at very low frequencies or very low frequency audio signals and very high frequency audio. In between this high frequency and low frequency, the amplifier will be working very satisfactory. So if there are chances to have a very high frequency system or very high frequency for the signal or very low frequency for the signal. In those two cases, an equalizer can just adjust the audio in such a manner that the signal received from the mixers will be altered in order to improve the performance or the frequency characteristics of the audio system. The circuit or equipment used to achieve this equalization is called an equalizer. Tape recorder അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഓഡിയോ സിസ്റ്റത്തിലൊക്കെ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടാവും ഇക്വലൈസർ ഗ്രാഫിക് ഡിസ്പ്ലേ ഇക്വലൈസർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് that frequency change how it happens, how the frequency change happens. So that is visually seen in some devices, and in some devices there will be a moving rheostat model moving type of system knobs which actually we does to adjust the equalizer or equalizer frequency. The amplifier system uses equalizers along with mixers to alter the frequency response of an audio system using filters. The circuit or equipment used to achieve the equalization in the output of the amplifier or output of the PA system is called the equalizer. Follow my point. So equalization is the adjusting the amplitude of the audio signal at particular frequency. If you want to adjust the frequency level of certain frequencies, in such cases, equalization will be done by the equalizer. This equalization is adjusting the amplitude of the audio signal to adjust the amplitude at a very particular frequency. The equalization may be used to remove the unwanted. That is the main advantage of using it. Unwanted sounds can be neglected. Only those sounds which are to be heard louder will be usually using equalizers, in which equalization may be used to adjust the signals in order to remove the unwanted sounds. Follow my point. So the equalization will adjust the amplitude of the audio signals at a particular frequency, so that the howling action, this you might have heard of howling, the sound amplifier microphone you can hear that sound. Amplifier loudspeaker. So that is why we always hold the microphone well back of the loudspeakers placed. Loudspeaker microphone we will be getting an audio sound which is very faithful and amplified without having any unwanted sounds. Follow my point. So unwanted sounds can be removed by equalization techniques or equalizers. So equalizers can be used for removing such unwanted sounds. Sometimes you can see a graphic equalizer which is visible outside, graphically moving with that will be the indicator will be moving with regard to the frequency changes. So that indicator will be moving. That's a graphic equalizer. So we can graphically see on what is the frequency which is to be adjusted and how the frequency can be controlled for getting the sound signals very effectively. So this is a typical another diagram which incorporates the graphic equalizer. In graphic equalizer, of course, bus 1, bus 2, bus 3, bus 4, this is the mixer. The mixer will be having different buses, means which connects different kinds of equipments for different purposes. Bus 1 will be holding and which will be handling graphic equalizer and house loudspeakers which is placed in house or some important places. And bus 2 will be using a graphic equalizer and limiter. This limiter actually includes the voltage amplifier, the preamplifier, then the processing circuit, that is like gate controls and other controls, then power amplifier. Of course, power amplifier can be taken separately. These are limiters, means that is the pre-amplification stage and voltage amplification stage with the gain control. So that will be given to the graphic equalizer, and from the graphic equalizer, the output of the audio signal will be given to a power amplifier. So the final stage of amplification in any amplifier is the power amplification. Before the power amplification, we will be doing pre-amplification, just like improving the voltages of the voltage signal or the amplifier signal, amplitude of the voltage of the amplifier signal, right? So after the power amplifier, of course, power amplifier make use of the maximum power transfer theorem. I told you before and after high frequency regions, the power will be power will be getting halved. That is why that high frequency cutoff frequency and lower cutoff frequency are called 3 dB frequency points, where the power of the amplifier reduced by half. That is why that particular frequency F1 and F2 are called half power frequency. So maximum power transfer theorem must be satisfied here. Maximum power which is available from this amplification stage will be given to the power amplifier, where the power of the signal is amplified, and that is then drives the loudspeaker. നമ്മൾ ചില ഗാനമേളൊക്കെ കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് 4000 വാട്ട് സ്പീക്കർ സിസ്റ്റം വെച്ചിട്ട് വളരെ വലിയ പ്രകമ്പനം കൊള്ളിക്കുന്ന സൗണ്ട്. So that are all done with this mixers, equalizers, and this limiter circuits and all. So this is a block schematic diagram of a PA system in which limiters, graphic equalizers, power amplifiers, and loudspeakers are connected separately. See, 4-5-6 loudspeakers ഒക്കെ വെച്ച വലിയ speaker system കാണാം. And there will be sounds which are having very low, very harsh voice, like voice. That is what is called bass. And there are some sweet voice, female voice, like very high frequency tones. Such very high frequency tones have to be reproduced. So both the low frequency, that is low frequency sound, that is bass frequency sounds, and very high frequency sounds have to be reproduced by the speakers. The same speaker cannot be done so. That is why the speaker systems are also arranged in such a manner that there will be speakers to produce the low frequency region, that is the bass frequency sounds or bass frequency sounds, and there will be loudspeakers which can amplify and which can give an amplified and very high frequency signals very effectively. Such type of loudspeakers are called tweeters, and loudspeakers which handles the low frequency, that is the bass frequency, is called woofers. So you might have seen in musical systems of your house, you'll be having woofer and tweeters. Woofer will be giving you a faithful low frequency signals amplified output, and tweeter will be giving you a very high frequency tones which will be reproduced very faithfully and effectively without having losses with the tweeters. So tweeters and woofers are also there in the musical systems, wherein the loudspeakers are having these kinds of arrangements to produce the sound signals depending upon the frequencies. And these mixers are connected to different. There will be different. One is for the singer, one is for the that guitar player, and there is for the violinist, and there will be some 5 to 6 violinists. So 5 to 6 microphones has to be connected. So there will be 2 guitars. One is bass guitar, and the other is the ordinary playing guitar. So that will be there. So that is the given connection. Then there will be 3 singers or 4 singers will be given separated microphone. So there will be number of microphones, some 17, 18, 19, even 20, 25 microphones will be connected through mixers. So each this mixer will be having facilities for connection of different microphones, with which actually makes the connection with buses. Bus means set of linkages or wires which actually makes connections to each circuit, and that's why it is called bus. A system of equipment which are connected on a particular system through wires and other circuits is called a bus. So bus 1, bus 2, bus 3, bus 4, bus 5, like that. So this is a block schematic diagram of a PA system with graphic visualizers. I told you what is woofer and tweeter, and with this I complete this public address system, and of course it is a very small topic still there, that is basic electronic instrumentation system and digital multimedia, and that will be given as your assignment number 1. So you can take down the question number 1 in assignment number 1. All of you please take down the question. Explain the basic electronic instrumentation and measurement system. Explain the components of a basic electronic instrumentation system with a block schematic diagram. Whenever you explain anything, you should not go for a long words, long things, and going on writing with words and sentences. Just give small figures representing all those things, because the figure will be explaining more than that what you are expecting. So that very easily we can explain things and the evaluator can very easily understand things. So you have to draw, whenever you do solve questions in engineering practices, you have to draw small figures representing the actions which actually takes place then and there. So this is the question number 1. Explain with a block schematic diagram the operation of an electronic instrumentation system. Explain with a block schematic diagram the operation of a basic electronic instrumentation system. Did you take the question? Did you take the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then second question. Question number 2. Explain with a neat block schematic diagram. Explain with a neat block schematic diagram the operation of a digital multimeter DMM. Explain with a neat diagram the operation of a digital multimeter. So these 2 questions you have to answer by referring some of the books or anything. You have books, sometimes you have so many notes and all those things. Write down the assignment as assignment number 1. And when will you submit this one? This assignment you have to submit next Tuesday. So next Tuesday you submit this assignment. Okay. And you have to write down your name and class and all those things, just as what you have done in the case of series test. And your series test I have evaluated, and I have seen so many mistakes in that one. I will just discuss it in the next class. Now the time is almost over, that is why. Okay. So with this I conclude the session here. I wish you all the very best. Thank you very much. Okay. Now I will take